Welcome to Let's Talk.
Oh, it's an honor to be here. I
Yeah.
appreciate the invitation. And in fact, the spirits are so high here. You can see it, the radiation in you and so many other people. Very positive too.
Oh, yeah.
Very positive.
Yeah,
Certainly
yeah.
something our nation needs.
Yeah. So you delivered the opening prayer last night,
Yes.
and when did you know that they were going to ask you to do this?
I think they may have asked me maybe 2 weeks before. Maybe 2 weeks before.
And what is that like? That's got to be. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. Now, maybe for you it's not because you've traveled around the world and you pray for a lot of folks, and you're you are a global citizen in many ways.
Yeah.
But I mean, to know that you're opening for the first woman who may receive the nomination.
Yes.
I mean, what did that mean to
it's
you?
a lot of pressure. I mean, I've been on a lot of stages. I've been on some big stages. That's probably that's probably the biggest stage. And so you have a lot of pressure. Again, it was an honor for our community, history in DC. And then, in fact, being a Muslim, and of course, now we're universal, which means that we're not only just representing African Americans, African American Muslims, but we're looked at, by Muslims who migrate from all around the world, and they have some different expressions sometimes about the things that we do. So being able to say something then with the trouble that we have in the world, not just in the Gaza or Israeli peace, but also other places in the world, things that are happening. So people that are listening want to know. So I wanted to make sure that whatever I said, it was broad enough to cover a lot of things. So and it takes time, because you're going to be on the stage later, and that you can't please everybody. But this is an elevated time. It's a historical time, and I wanted to make sure that it obviously preserved our dignity, as a people, as a community, and then help to contribute to the elevation that we're seeing already. We're already seeing it, And so it was not easy, and then you start out with 4 minutes, then it's dropped down to 2 minutes, and then of course at the last minute they have to take out more because they say things have been getting so tight.
Oh wow!
And then you have to try to make sure, because you build it to express some things I'm saying and to accomplish some of the things that we're saying to help people broaden their perspective, even on issues that they may be narrow on. And so that was to trim it down, and then at the last, literally at the last minute,
before you walked out,
I actually arrived at the convention center, and then said, "Did you get that email that you need to cut it down some more?"
Oh wow! So you had to present, you had to prepare, deliver, they review, and then every time they kept shortening it.
Yes, and I understand. I mean, they explained that they had a big entertainer. I forgot his name. You all know him. I know him. And he didn't even get to perform. He rehearsed, and the rehearsal was spectacular. But because things got so tight, he couldn't perform during the actual case. And then it went 2 hours over. And so I understood.
Yeah,
I know these things go. And then because I understood also that 4 weeks ago it was going in a whole other direction.
Things changed. In fact, exactly.
And everybody I spoke to that was on the team. Now, everybody I spoke to, backstage service, none of them were on the team 4 weeks ago.
Wow.
So we got some new people, and then of course things have to change. Secret Service coming in, everything. And I understood it. And I'm not going to get 30 years in the Air Force too. Instead of leaving travel, different things.
Yeah. So former First Lady Michelle Obama talked about, how this shifted so quickly.
Yes.
But let me ask you really, really quickly. Just the diversity. I mean, one of the things we talked about is diversity, but diversity of faiths.
Yes.
And so, why is that important?
It's very important.
Yeah.
That's very important because even in light of what we're seeing on the world stage right now, a lot of that involves faith identities. That are being disparaged. In fact, people are being killed because of their faith. This is very important. I mean, it's certainly they made it, and obviously the call made it very clear that they are committed. The DNC is committed. The ticket, the candidates, they're very committed, to the foundational values that this country is built upon and the laws. They wanted to make that statement. They wanted to make that statement clear. And we've seen it as that as we had the conversation. So that's important. This is America. Colin Powell said this is the last best hope for the world. And in a sense that is, because there was not a society like the American society for, I think, about 1,400 years. And when you look at history, to be honest, I mean, we had, everybody was autocratic, totalitarian. You had the sultanic powers, you had the kings. You didn't have a democracy like this. And so a lot of people looking at this. So this is why it's important that you be reflective of the human picture, and to get people to look at the human and not to get focused on weaponizing religious identities.
Right.
We have to tone that down. That's why this is very important.
So before we go, I just want to ask one question, because you're over the masjid on New Jersey Avenue. You all just got a grant because you have it's a historic site.
Very historic
Can you
site.
talk about that just a little bit?
This site, because the community has been in DC almost 90 years now, which is a long time for Islam in America in the public. And of course, it was made public by the likes of Malcolm X, Imam Talib Shareef. But this masjid is the only masjid, or only mosque in America's history that Malcolm X helped to build from the ground up.
And I just learned that last year.
Yes, that's the case. A lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah.
Even the members didn't think about it because they were like you're part of something. You don't even think about the history. And it's also the first one built from the ground up by American citizens. They just happened to be descendants of enslaved Africans. And of course, this was under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad. He went to Saudi Arabia. To what's called a minor Hajj in the 50s, late 50s. In fact, he said, we have to have mosques like they have over there. He said, I want the first one to be in Washington, D.C.
Wow, that's amazing.
But he little did he know at that time that the American citizens had not built one. Immigrants had built mosques. The first ones in America were built by migrants. They didn't have citizenship status out in Iowa and the Dakotas. But the one that was built, and he didn't know it at the time, but it ended up being the first one built from the ground up by American citizens, and certainly by descendants of enslaved Africans.
Well, this
Very
whole
historic.
conversation is just filled with congratulations. Congratulations on being representing the District of Columbia, representing the Muslim community, and to speak last night at the Democratic National Convention. And congratulations on the what's going to happen there with the grant that you all get.
Thank you. We certainly appreciate that. And I'll make sure the community hears that as well. And of course, they'll be also directed to their favorite newspaper, Washington Informer, to get it also.
All right, I appreciate that.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the conference.
Yes.
Okay, all righty.